As clearly solicited within promotional advertisements, Malcolm and Marie is marketed as not being a love story, but rather a story about love. So, Malcolm and Marie is not a depiction of black love or love at all. Although Zendaya Coleman is a biracial woman and John David Washington is a black man, Malcolm and Marie was never explicitly intended to mimic nor exemplify the perpetual toxicity and moreover the caricatures within black relationships. So it's a bit off-putting to hear critics refer to it as such, when assumingly, as it is implied, this film is about abuse. This film is intentionally tentative as it is not written to be pleasurable, so I was not seeking to identify a character to love of equal and or lesser value. This film is a think piece, so I was expecting it to be a bit exhausting and or overwhelming. I was expecting it to be a bit triggering as it details abuse. I was not expecting this far-fetched psychological thriller. So when critics are expressing that it's too much or it's too triggering, it's like, duh, it's a toxic relationship with toxic individuals. Like, it's toxic. Duh. Yet as this film is meant to evoke and or invoke psychological depth, it's hard to pinpoint the premise if there is one. And I say this respectfully as the plot is almost as chaotic as the relationship. And again, maybe that's what Levinston wanted. Yet although I wasn't bothered by the Socratic dialogue, for this is a localized film comprised of two cast members, prompted by the pandemic and limited resources, I can admit the dialogue was quite exaggerated as it too became a bit redundant. While it may be impressive to share our range of diction, if not yielded correctly, it may work against our intended sentiment. So, concisely, the length, although a bit lengthy, was quite realistic, as I've witnessed arguments exceeding days in comparison to the hours Malcolm and Marie spent arguing. In my opinion, Malcolm and Marie was an underdeveloped fences and may have translated better on stage than on screen. Irrefutably, the cinematography enhanced the retentional engagement, as one could appreciate the visuals and camera angles while mostly focusing their attention on the dialogue. The monochromatic served as a beautiful yet simplistic counterbalance for the ugly complexities of Malcolm and Marie, yet it too served as a filter of ambiguity, as it suggests that not everything is black and or white as it is variations of gray. I wasn't expecting Marie to leave Malcolm, nor was I expecting a reconciliation, so I don't know why the general consensus was that Marie was going to leave Malcolm and just start anew. As this is a toxic dynamic merely reflected through art, it's not therapy, nor is it a child's novel. If Marie was going to leave, she would have already left before she put the macaroni on the stove. Like, I'm not understanding how people are expressing how this is quite realistic or how they want it to be realistic, but when it's depicted as such, there's an issue. It's pathetic. It's like, well, duh, it's fucking pathetic. Yeah, it's a toxic ass relationship. What were you expecting? Like I said, if Maria was going to leave, she would have left before she put the macaroni on the stove. She would have left before she even decided to come back home. She would have been done left, but she stayed, and she was always going to stay. She just wanted to prove her point. And finally, due to the relationship being so jaded, I was not expecting intense sexual attraction or tension, yet I was expecting intimacy, as it became conceivably hard to picture these two as they were intended. Although I have no issue with the age gap, I find that the age gap often being referenced does speak to the resonance of Zendaya's maturity and maybe even John's maturity, but a lot of the conversation has focused on Zendaya, and I do agree as this is subjective. I don't believe people would point out her age if maturity truly resonated through her depiction of Marie. A perfect example of being younger yet still appearing mature would be Margaret Robbie within The Wolf of Wall Street, the 2013 film where she filmed alongside Leonardo DiCaprio as his wife. And she was 22 or 23 years old when she filmed The Wolf of Wall Street, but no one really questioned her age or even thought of her age. Of course, we knew she was the younger, hotter wife because that's what she was, casted as. Yet no one really questioned how young she was because she just was so mature within her depiction of her character. And the previous has nothing to do with Zendaya being a 24-year-old who once starred on Disney Channel. Like, no, I have no qualms about her and her Disney past. Honestly, I feel like she's definitely matured since her Disney career, doing Shake It Up or Zapped or Frenemies. I absolutely see the growth within her acting and every endeavor that she pursues. Just personally, for this film, I did not feel that maturity that she has match with the maturity of Marie, you know? Subjectively, Zendaya just seemed to lack a level of conviction. I think Tessa Thompson or maybe even Zoe Kravitz would have been a better fit for Marie than Zendaya, subjectively. Yet, moreover, I did appreciate the consistent ups and downs, highs and lows, as it emphasized the vicious cycle of toxicity. I appreciated the absence of resolution, as within karmic relationships, to do what is simple isn't always easy. Overall, for me, as it was the lack chemistry and or conviction, it too was the performative execution of the script. Again, the conviction, as the dialogue was quite prompt. None of the arguments stemmed from miscommunications or misinterpretation, as it seemed to be line for line.